Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Cori Schumacher.
Good evening. They were going to do a one-liner kind of introduce, but I will do that for them. My name is Cori Schumacher. I am a three-time women's world longboard surfing champion. I've been in and around surfing since I was in the womb. Mom. And I have transitioned, and now my current job occupation is councilwoman serving in the city of Carlsbad. And it just so happens that I'm also running for mayor of the same city. Because I just couldn't get enough of politics and surfing. So I'm here to present to one of my favorite surfers, Ms. Joyce Hoffman. And I'd like to tell you a little story. Surfers Journal reached out to me a number of years back and asked me to go out to the Hoffman Ranch and sit down and ask Joyce a couple questions and have a chat. And that was back in 2013. And at that time, since I'd spent so much time in and around surfing, I had already had a pretty good sense of her surf acumen and her accomplishments. All of the stylistic components that made up really some of the classic elements of when we think of Joyce, that iconic image that we think of. I had grown up within the longboard renaissance of the 80s and the 90s, so surfing longboard and shortboard. Also hailing from a surfing family of my own, I had the unique opportunity to listen to the stories of our shared heritage, and we are storytellers, aren't we? I got the chance to meet the legends of surfing in events and competitions up and down the coast of California, Australia, South by France, Hawaii. So when I walked onto the Hoffman Ranch, I knew I was walking into a conversation with one of surfing's dignitaries, one of surfing's legends. But as I kicked the dirt off of my sneakers and climbed back into my car after almost 2 hours, I had that particular sense that I had just had one of those formative conversations that would both help me understand a pivotal piece of the evolution of surfing and surf culture, while feeling less alone myself in a world of surfing as a strategically minded female athlete that was both intense and driven. So, peeling open the annals of any surfing tome, you will find Joyce's name recorded as the most dominant competitive presence in the pre-shortboard revolution era. She's a four-time U.S. champion, 65 through 67 and 71. She won the Makaha International Surfing Championship twice, and won back-to-back World Surfing Championships in 65 and 66. In 1968, Joyce became the first documented female surfer to ride pipeline. And please remember what board she was riding at the time. You better believe I asked her to tell me the story of that surf experience, which she was able to relate with pristine clarity, recalling in vivid detail even the coils of the riptide that day. Thank you for painting that picture for me, Joyce. Joyce had a unique crossover appeal with non-surfing realms. She was featured in 17, Vogue, Teen Magazine, Sports Illustrated, and ABC's Wide World of Sports. She also remains the first and only surfer to be named a Person of the Year by LA Times. And it is here in exploring this crossover that we find the attitude and aptitude that led me to the understanding of Joyce as the godmother of our modern era's professional surfing. You see, despite the early mid-1960s particular hedonistic tendencies, Joyce, who chose a different path, would, at any other point in time, if she had chosen something different, she would have stood on an Olympic podium in any sport of her choosing. And skiers of that era should very well thank you for not being in their sport. Joyce cross-trained. She studied surf breaks for days before competitions and took seriously the mantle of professionalism and sportsmanship through her determination to be an upstanding role model in the sport she did end up choosing, our surfing. Joyce understood precisely and clearly that the world was watching her and our emerging sport. She understood that she had a responsibility to herself, competitive surfing, and those who would come after her. She knew that she had to respect the game. Joyce infused dignity into competitive surfing, and she didn't play small. She didn't pretend she was not confident. She did not pretend she was not capable. She never doubted that she deserved to be out in the lineup, and she didn't doubt that she could win. She never sold herself short, and so she never sold our sport short. And I will reference what Ms. Patty said earlier about what we mean by our sport. Today we are used to professional surfers cross-training, living cleanly, and striving to be upstanding role models who think beyond themselves and carry a respect for the game, for themselves and for each other. In a highly competitive society, from business to sports to politics, it's commonplace to find sore losers and vindictive winners. We could all use a bit more Joyce Hoffman mentality these days. Ms. Hoffman, it is absolutely my pleasure to once again present an award to you. And as many rewards as you receive, you'll find me up here if you want me. But as a culture, as a sport, as a way of life, we are so much the better for having you in it. Thank you, Joyce Hoffman. Yeah.